So I was rummaging through the newspaper trying to find my article, and I thought that I would share Hindustan Times lifestyle section with you. What you will notice always in every newspaper is that women's bodies are just like there. You can have the same picture, sometimes. But there's always just flesh. Always. Even you have this Meryl Streep movie, and this guy is sitting there he even has his shirt on, but not her. No, honey, she has to be naked. She has to be like available. Just women. I find it so troubling to always have that. And then on top of that, this is how you sneak men's bodies in, is that you make them metrosexuals. You make them hairless, that boyish look. So they're not really a man. So it's almost like you're eroticizing a child. You want adult models, adult men, except for your sports stars, of course. But you want adult men, all of the major stars. Literally removing every hair from every inch of their body. Here again is that same Meryl Streep article. So let's move to the next page. What do we have here? Oh, this was really interesting. So they trashed a restaurant. That was really interesting. Not so enticing. I have to read to you what they said. I feel like a celebrity because it's that empty. As if they cleared it for him, which may explain why it's brave indeed that the former Tabula Rasa, place that I went to a few times because they had a decent and affordable brunch, but you felt like a celebrity because it was that empty. Which may explain why it's brave indeed that the former Tabula Rasa perverses in newer incarnations. So if a restaurant isn't successful, would you put another restaurant in that same place? Well, maybe if you have a gimmick, if you have a USP, he tries to explore. Design aesthetic-wise, wonderful, except for the red, blue, and silver waterproof fabric. I think he's saying it's tacky. So here's the food. We started with an interesting sounding Japanese caterpillar. And then we moved on to a chicken roll, which turned out to be a weird deep fried roll. It's a really horrible review. They're giving them a horrible, even the thing that was good even had a day glow orange batter. But here's the coup d'etat, and I have to show you the picture. You see this raw meat served on a grill. There are lots of different eating rituals, which include serving raw food that you cook there. Korea has some great, I can't begin to talk about Korean food. When you talk about how delicious it is when you can just cook it right there. And eat all night, eat and drink. So this says, the USP at this eatery is the trademarked stone grill, where a heated stone is brought to your table for you to cook meat or fish. It's healthy eating and fun. But there are two problems with this, and this is where you're reminded that you're in India. Your meat can quickly get overcooked, and it's a bit of a cheat being expected to pay good money for you to have to cook yourself, because people who can afford to pay don't cook themselves. Just like Colonel Sanders. People say, oh, you're from Kentucky, you like KFC. No, not like the Colonel Sanders, but like the chicken itself. He's like, Mammy, go on and fry me up some of that chicken. Go on and fry it. I'm going to sell some. 11 secret herbs and spices. So I'm suspecting that having to cook yourself here in India, probably to the people who can afford the Colonels and the Sanders, who can afford that. I'm just poking fun at this writer. I'm not saying that people are like that, but that is part of the class debate that you see here. So as expected, the writer says, the meat started drying out on the heated stone. The best part where the writer gave 2 out of 5 stars for food, 2.5 for service, 3 for decor, and 2.5 out of 5 stars for ambiance. But he basically said that the food was inedible. With much of our food untouched, we had earned dessert. With, let me read that one more again. With much of our meal untouched, the saving grace of the restaurant, of course, was a reflection of why they only got 2.5 stars for service. The staff couldn't explain the stone grill concept and didn't tell us, because they're supposed to stand there and tell you, you're supposed to cook the meat and not let it overcook. At least in Korea, they'll stand there and do it for you. But I went to one of the best Korean restaurants that I've been to outside of Korea was in Colombo, and they really do have A, Korean prices, B, actual seafood, and C, they'll help you cook and they'll talk to you. You have like a person that is like having a conversation with you and helping you cook. And if they see that you can't manage, then they'll help you manage. If they see that you'd like to manage, they'll manage for you. And it's just it's its own ambiance. And I haven't seen that ambiance recreated in a lot of places outside of Korea, but in Sri Lanka. And no, not on 34th Street in Manhattan. But the staff couldn't even tell us that the restaurant has a lovely selection of exotic teas. That's the saving grace, is they have a selection of exotic teas. So we move on to the travel and leisure page. And what you notice is that there are a lot of islands. People must love to go to islands. Lions, tigers, and bears are so our dear Lanka is here. And then Macau is here, being sold as the Venice of Asia, which I thought was Bangkok. But anyway, and I thought that Macau was the Vegas of Asia. I mean, I actually know a French woman who went there because made a lot of money. But anyway, I'm like, that's okay. You want to rebrand, you rebrand. Everybody has to rebrand Sri Lanka after the Civil War. They're doing a great job of rebranding. They have an ad here and on the next page. I mean, if you can't figure out that you need to go to Sri Lanka and not for a lot of money, then you're not in it. You're obviously not about it. All right. I love Manish Arora because talk about branding. There he is. A friend of mine, gave me his co-branded compact with matte. So it's like pink, and it's all these like pastel colors, and it's a beautiful case. And I just like him as a public, as a star. Okay, this is the party page. So I'm looking at the party page. This is the person that I find most interesting on this page. He's an out gay designer. He co-branded that compact with MAC. He co-brands shoes with Reebok. He probably co-brands millions of other things that I don't know about. But I like that. I find that pretty awesome. And then there are other people who aren't really straightforward about who they are, who are always pretending to be something and projecting something. And he's someone who I find doesn't really try to project some sort of persona. I appreciate that. I want to show you this. Yes, it's true. He does have 6 fingers. Or a split thumb. But back to this public figures and stars. I mean, he's a designer, and I'm not going to talk about him as a designer, but there is really something wicked about gay designers designing clothes for women like Kate Moss, designing the idealized woman body. There is something very odd about the fashion industry being very much run by the Versace, the Western fashion industry, but also in Korea, and also here. So for every place that I know, Italy, in Germany, the UK a little bit less, and then they're making these impossible fashions for people. That's just what I see. So then here's the next thing. I was invited to cooperate with an artist to make a dance presentation and talk. So I knew that people would want to talk about Michael Jackson. He's an artist that has impressed me and made impressions upon me a lot. So here we are. Here's my article. Can you see? Queering Wacko Jacko. That's our dance performance. Woo, they are working it out.